It's a moment that many feared, yet none were fully prepared for. The voice that stirred millions, the man who stood at the pulpit with unwavering passion, is no more. Jimmy Swaggart, the iconic televangelist whose name has echoed across the globe for decades, has passed on. And now, as the church community reels in sorrow, the question that trembles on every believer's lips is haunting yet inevitable: can his church survive without him? Jimmy Swaggart wasn't just a preacher, he was a movement. From the humble beginnings of his ministry in the dusty rural roads of Louisiana, to broadcasting sermons that reached into the hearts of believers across nations, Swaggart's presence was more than spiritual, it was monumental. Millions tuned in, not merely to hear a sermon, but to experience a connection, to feel uplifted, to be transformed. The glare of studio lights, the resounding chords of gospel hymns, and that unmistakable southern drawl, all were hallmarks of a ministry built on fervent passion and undeniable charisma. His pulpit wasn't just a platform, it was a throne of revival. But as the sanctuary lights now dim and the echoes of his voice fade into memory, the faithful are left grappling with a frightening reality. Swaggart's passing has left a chasm so deep, so emotionally devastating, that the very foundations of Family Worship Center, the epicenter of his global ministry, are shaking. What now? Who leads the flock? Can any soul fill the shoes of a man so deeply revered, so widely watched, and so emotionally woven into the fabric of believers' lives? The sadness is universal, but the fears are growing. Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge, once the epicenter of Swaggart's religious empire, now feels subdued. Though thousands still attend and watch, there is a conspicuous silence in the sanctuary. The pulpit that once bore the thunder of Jimmy's voice now stands cold. The choir, still adorned in their Sunday best, sings with heavy hearts. The congregation wipes away tears. Everyone's thinking the same thing. How do you carry on after losing the heartbeat of the ministry? In his lifetime, Swaggart built more than a church. He constructed a spiritual dynasty. But dynasties need succession, and the glaring issue is whether the torch has been passed strongly enough. Donnie Swaggart, Jimmy's only son, has long stood by his father's side. He has preached, led, and supported the ministry. But to many, Donnie's presence, though appreciated, lacks the awe-inspiring magnetism that Jimmy naturally commanded. Can he lead with the same power? Will the people follow with the same fervor? Some insiders say yes, others, not so sure. Behind closed doors there is whispered uncertainty. Longtime staff members, ministry elders and production crews who've been with Jimmy since the early television days are reportedly shaken. The church's future broadcasts, events, and revival schedules hang in the balance. Donations, always a lifeline for the ministry, have already shown signs of slowing. Financial partners, many of whom gave sacrificially, not to a church, but to Jimmy personally, are reassessing their commitments. Some supporters are already looking to other ministries, fearing that without Jimmy, Family Worship Center may lose its voice and vision. And what of the global audience? Jimmy Swaggart's reach was not confined to the pews of Baton Rouge. His sermons were translated, aired, and streamed to corners of the world untouched by other ministries. In Africa, believers would gather in huts around satellite TVs to watch Jimmy preach. In the Philippines, crusades aired to millions. In Eastern Europe, bootleg VHS tapes once circulated underground during times of religious suppression. His was a ministry that crossed borders and transcended language. Who can replicate that? Not only is Jimmy Swaggart gone, a spiritual father figure to many, but a generational symbol of revivalism may be vanishing with him. Still, some believe that a spark remains. The younger Swaggarts, including Donnie's son Gabriel, have stepped up in recent years. Gabriel, with his own modern touch, charisma, and digital flair, has been engaging younger audiences. He's revamped parts of the ministry, embraced social media, and launched youth-centric gospel events. But even his efforts, as commendable as they are, raise questions. Is the future of the ministry veering too far from its roots? Can innovation walk hand in hand with legacy? Or will trying to modernize Jimmy's message dilute its soul? Longtime followers are split. Some appreciate the changes, others miss the traditional touch. The organ, the hymns, the fire and brimstone sermons that made Jimmy so distinct. One tearful churchgoer told local reporters, "I don't want lights and Instagram. I want the word, the truth. I want Jimmy." The psychological impact of his passing is profound. For many congregants, especially the elderly, this loss feels like losing a family member. It's not just a preacher gone, it's a spiritual father, a mentor, a friend who was there through every trial and triumph. For decades, Jimmy's sermons accompanied breakfasts, hospital stays, marriages, and funerals. He was present in their lives more than some relatives, and now, with his absence, there's a haunting void. Church counselors have noted an increase in members requesting spiritual guidance, not over sin or suffering but grief that feels deeper than anyone anticipated. It's as if the spiritual compass of an entire generation has been abruptly taken away. But the real test lies ahead, the test of leadership, vision, and unity. Can Donnie, Gabriel, and the remaining ministry team rally together to carry the torch? Will the church board stand united or splinter under the weight of expectation and pressure? Already, external ministries are circling, offering speaking engagements, poaching staff, and suggesting collaborations. In a post-Swaggart world, vultures are hovering. However, all is not gloom. One surprising development has been the response of the global church community. Ministries around the world, even those who once competed for viewership and donors, have extended condolences and support. Some have offered resources, airtime, and collaboration to help keep Swaggart's message alive. Old allies and even former critics have come together to recognize the monumental legacy that Jimmy leaves behind. Love him or not, the man was a giant, one prominent pastor tweeted. And giants leave giant shoes to fill. There's also been a surge in viewership of old Jimmy Swaggart's sermons. YouTube, Christian streaming apps, and digital archives report massive spikes in viewership. Clips of his fiery sermons, passionate altar calls, and emotional music sets are being shared everywhere. It seems the world isn't ready to let go. In fact, some believe Jimmy's voice will now reach farther in death than in life. There is even talk of releasing unreleased recordings, unpublished books, and intimate behind-the-scenes footage of Jimmy's life. Footage that could reignite faith and fundraising in equal measure. A documentary may be on the horizon, and plans for a memorial concert featuring gospel legends are already underway. For Frances Swaggart, Jimmy's devoted wife and ministry partner, the days ahead are both heavy and critical. Her next public appearance, or statement, could set the emotional tone for millions. Insiders suggest she may address the congregation soon. The strength of her message, the hope in her voice, and her support for the next generation could be the turning point. If Frances stands strong, the people may follow. And yet, in all this uncertainty, one thing remains undeniable. Jimmy Swaggart may be gone in body, but his spirit lingers in every corner of Family Worship Center. From the stained glass windows to the velvet pews, from the old piano in the studio to the pages of the Bible he carried for over 50 years, his essence endures. The final question is not whether the church will survive, but how it will survive. Will it preserve his legacy faithfully? Will it evolve, adapt, and reach a new generation without forgetting the fire that started it all? Or will it, like so many empires before, slowly fade without its founder? As the world watches and the believers pray, only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Jimmy Swaggart changed lives, and for that, he will never be forgotten. The world has lost a spiritual titan, but heaven has gained a mighty warrior of the faith. Jimmy Swaggart's voice may no longer echo through the sanctuary, but his legacy beats strong in the hearts of millions who were forever changed by his message. As Family Worship Center stands at the crossroads of history, a storm of uncertainty swirls, but so does a flicker of faith. The question is no longer just can they survive, it's, will you stand with them? Will you keep his memory alive? Will you pray for the ministry as it enters uncharted waters? Will you be part of the next chapter? If this story moved you, share it. If you believe Jimmy's message must live on, let the world hear your voice. If you're praying for Frances, Donnie, Gabriel, and the church, comments still standing below.